Last night, I really thought about the concept of the disturbed, and I think that's probably what helped boost me a little bit because the innocent shot was very simple. The disturbed one I really kind of put a lot of thought into. The night before I was thinking, you know, how can I work this into my favor, and with this I was going more of Innocence Lost more than Disturbed because it was a stark contrast to the Innocence itself.
I think this is really good execution of the theme. I think the lighting completely works. You have eye contact, but it's sort of a disconnected eye contact because you can't completely see into her eyes. I love that she's clutching the little doll and the props sort of hint at the theme. And I also like that you have this sort of open window. It sort of feels dangerous to me, like she could be potentially in danger. There's a little bit too much dark space at the bottom for me, but overall I think it's excellent.
I'm really distracted by that light. I like it, but I feel like either we need to crop into it, it needs to be smaller. It's like this big, huge white thing in the upper left-hand corner of that shot, and either maybe pull it back and get rays of light coming down would have been kind of cool. I understand you're kind of pulling from the lightness to the darkness, but it's totally distracting me right now. But really great vignetting, great post-production, understanding textures, and coaching your subject. I think she elicited a really nice response.
The things I love about this, I love your concept, like Douglas said, the use of props. I think that you did a really good job of conveying the word disturbed. I completely agree with Douglas. You have to be so careful with your light sources, especially with available light. This would have been 10 times stronger had you pulled back a little bit. You could still utilize the window, but let the wall frame the window so that your eye's not leading off the shot completely. It's just this glowing orb, and I want to watch her and look at her, but my eye just keeps going into this dead white space.
I just wanted it to be light and almost have like an ethereal quality. I use the 50mm because I really like, you know, that sharp depth of field in the 1.4, and just kind of let, you know, the lens do its thing, and just try to pick up on her eyes and the natural colors in them.
I mean, it's interesting. This is the one Innocence one that didn't have any props, but I mean, you're utilizing the fact that this girl is really cute, which you got lucky on this one. I assume you got the good luck of the draw. It's a little hot though on the right side. She's kind of getting melted, but you know, looking at mommy, Innocence, certainly I get it. Good. Nicole?
You know, I agree. It's a cute shot. I mean, the mom would love it because her eyes are beautiful and she looks very sweet. 50mm is not probably the best lens to use for a portrait. I'd do an 85 or higher, like a 105 potentially. But you know, it's a good shot. Like Douglas said, it's a little hot on the right, but it's cute.
Justine?
I definitely get Innocence from this. I like the big catch lights in her eyes, that she's looking up. It actually is sort of reminiscent for me of the 40-Year-Old Virgin shot from the billboards. I don't know if you guys remember that. It's this
Steve Carell.
Yeah, like looking up and looking off, and it's just it's totally. Yeah, no, it's that. I don't know why. That's just
doesn't convey innocence. Steve Carell. I don't know.
It does for him. But you know, the little pink bow. You know, it conveys the innocence. It doesn't like blow my mind, but it's a nice shot.
I think that you do have to kind of take any criticism from anyone, whether it's, you know, a celebrity photographer or your next door neighbor. You do have to kind of take everything with a grain of salt. That's just my personal opinion, and I don't think any one person is right. I think you do have to rely a lot on your instinct and your gut feeling and your heart, and, you know, believe in yourself.
Okay, for the disturbed photo, I really wanted to, I had in mind a vision of a kid in a, you know, old warehouse setting, kind of like it's kind of like a mental hospital, like she's, you know, really kind of in a hopeless situation. It was really difficult with a 2-year-old because it's hard to give, you know, instruction to a 2-year-old. So I was relying more, I guess, on post-processing after the shoot.
One thing I want to add that you mentioned, you know, you said you were kind of relying or hoping, fixing something in post afterwards. I think a lot of the problem nowadays with young photographers is that they have a tendency to do that. I would encourage you to try to get it right in camera. You know what I mean? To work really hard at your lighting, your composition. You know, Photoshop is a tool, but you need to use it as that, you know, not something that you're like, oh, I can't get the shot right, you know, oh, I'll just fix it in Photoshop.
Yeah, not a crutch.
No, and that's what's going to separate you from some of the other people, is if you're really concentrating on making sure that the execution of the shot is done correctly to begin with, then you'll see that in your work.
I really like her expression. I do get this sort of like lack of hope, or that she's lost somehow.
Certainly the expressions are there. Overall, I'm not seeing props to really, or to really execute full on disturb, but I think I really like what you're going for here. It's really tough to try and do that with a little kid. But
all right, let's take a look at the Innocence theme from Catherine. Catherine, tell us about this shot.
Okay, the little girl, she's sweet as can be, so I just wanted to indicate that she was having fun, and you know, there's not much more innocent than a 2-year-old, so we brought out some bubbles and let her kind of play around, and this is just her natural personality coming through.
Yeah, I think that this is fun and cute, and you know, definitely you've conveyed innocence here.
I would have liked to have seen the bubbles if it was part of the story. The composition feels like just a little amateur, like it's just sort of straight. She takes up the frame. I would have liked to have seen it done a little bit differently, and maybe a lower body position, like a little more intimacy with the subject.
I had this really terrible high school job at the Picture People. I had to wear the beanie and the vest. And this is the kind of thing I had to photograph. You know, this is what parents like. But we're also going for a more creative. You're assuming that you're producing an ad for a subject that is conveying a certain subject, and I would have liked to see you push it. Technically, it's a very nice photo.
I also wanted to say that I applaud you for using supplemental lighting early on in your career. I think there's a problem these days where all these new photographers, they say, I'm a natural light shooter. And they tout that as if it's something to be proud of. It means I don't know about lighting. Yeah, exactly. I know that I didn't really venture into using off-camera lighting that much until a few years into my career. And if you want to set yourself apart from whatever everyone else is doing, I know that I shoot tons of families and I shoot them in their homes. But if I need it, I will bring whatever lighting I need for whatever mood I'm going for. So it sort of takes the competition out of it, because if you have a style of shooting whatever it is that you shoot, and you're the only one who does it that way, you're not dealing with price issues and the competition and people shopping around. And I think lighting is one of the best ways to set yourself apart. So good job.
I think the judges were pretty even as far as judging. Everyone pretty much seemed to get the same kind of feedback. So.
Hi, Marcus.
All right, well, for the Innocent theme, I basically wanted to show Haley was the model. I wanted to show that she's reading a book, she has a little play area, she paints, she's just being a sweet, innocent girl. So that's basically what I wanted to do with this particular.
Marcus, let me ask you a question. How long have you been shooting?
A year.
A year, okay. Well, I could tell this was an adventurous endeavor for you. You're still giving me that look. Yeah, we were talking about this before. But, that when young shooters, I could tell this is like a young, that you're a young shooter in it, that you came with a concept in mind. But it's kind of tough to kind of put concept together and then try for lighting. It's a little broad light source. It's tough, and you have such a busy background. I know what you're trying to go for here, but I would have liked to seen it more narrow, because instead we're kind of lighting the whole room and it makes it really busy. But that, that comes with experience.
The lighting doesn't bother me. I think her expression is cute, and I think for only being in 1 year, I think it's really good.
I commend you for actually attempting to do something different with your lighting. I mean, you're kind of one of the first that has. So I mean, the only way you can grow is if you experiment. So good job on that. I think her expression is adorable. I like the movement. Good attempt, definitely, and good interaction with her. I mean, she looks really cute, and I like her expression.
Well, with Disturb, for this theme, I basically wanted to go with something that was totally out of out of the norm, something out of the box. So I wanted to display Haley not wanting to watch TV, because in the Innocence photo, she's reading her book, you know, she's in a playful area.
This one for me conceptually is probably my favorite that I've seen. It freaks me out. It's like flowers in the attic for me. I was just thinking that too.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh. Damn it, Douglas, you need to watch more movies. Actually, it was a book, but made into a movie. Right. The word disturbed, I mean, it's just like there's, I mean, you can, I know she's in an attic, a hole in the floor, my God, she's gonna like fall in. I think it's an interesting shot. I like compositionally where you placed her, just how everything in your frame is kind of leading, it just leads me around the frame.
I agree. I think it's really, really well executed. The lighting is perfect for the mood. I like her body position, her expression, but I think it's a really, really great photo. Good job.
It's interesting, the framing. I see there's a lot of tension going on here in the way it's all kind of laid out. And in this case, I see you were speaking before about how you like to use a single light, more contrast, and it worked here, especially because I feel like whenever you kind of cut the eyes out, it adds sort of a really, it is scary when you see a subject and you lose that glisten, you lose their eyes, they become sort of a hollow character. The fact that you've only been doing this for a short amount of time, great attempt. This is definitely one of my favorites as in the Disturbed goes.
The judges take a moment to discuss their thoughts about the contestants. Each photographer will be awarded points between 1 and 5 in each of the 4 categories: lighting, composition, post-production, and creative vision. The scores are tallied. Now watch Part 3, the conclusion of Webisode 4 on Shutter Wars.